Hey folks, this is Dennis Boren, criminal defense attorney and former felony prosecutor. And I want to talk to you today about 3 things that you really need to know when you deal with the police. First of all, cell phones. Cell phones have become the boon for law enforcement for various reasons, but the main one is the ability to track your location and to find out where you were at a certain time. Now, most of us are aware that they ping off towers and they can determine a proximity, kind of a circle in which the cell phone could be used in. But they can also be traced back to what Wi-Fi networks a particular phone has been in contact with. Does not mean you've logged into it. I had a case, and I didn't really realize until this happened in a case I had, that there's actually a handshake between Wi-Fi networks and phones. If you go down the street and you're just watching on your settings, the Wi-Fi networks that come up, they're one after another. Even though you never connect to them, they're still a digital handshake, for lack of a better term. Okay, number 2. Now, I say this at the end of all the videos I've ever made, is when you're dealing with the police, get out your smartphone and turn on your video app. Now, you don't have to get all the transaction in visual form. If it's just the audio, that's fine. I just suggest you turn on the video app. If it's an audio app, that is still good. Usually this works to the advantage of prosecutors. To have a video. And they have the burden of proof, so often they need it. Realize that police reports aren't going to be written in your favor. So you having a video could really dispute and really solve any dispute that you have with the written police report. I had a case to show you how powerful a video is. Of course, this worked for the state's advantage. Of my client insisted he did not steal a gun from behind a counter in a store. Well, this particular store is a pawn shop, and they have about 80 cameras in pawn shops. And it was clear as a bell that he reached over, the counter and opened it and pulled out a gun and stuck it down his pants. So that solved that. I mean, it made my client know that he needed to take the deal that they were offering him. Now, let me tell you about the third thing. Now, this is kind of what I call a magic bullet. Of course, because you're running your video app or GoPro camera, doesn't matter what it is, you just need to get this, documented. Ask for an attorney. You can say it any which way. You can say, ask for a lawyer. You say, well, my lawyer, I want a lawyer. I want my attorney. You can say it any which way you like. What that does, it creates really an unequivocal, tall, impregnable wall. The cases are very clear. Once you do this, it's called invoking your right to counsel. Once you've invoked, anything that comes after that, as far as questioning is concerned, is not going to be admissible. And it's not going to be admissible, not only what you say, but what is resulting consequences of what you say. It's called fruits of the poisonous tree. So if there's evidence that's discovered or witnesses that are discovered from what you say after you've invoked, that is also suppressible by a judge in the court. Now, if you blurt out something, sui sponte, it's called, that's without being questioned, just spontaneously, even though you've invoked your right, that can be used against you. So I need to say this politely, you need to invoke your right to counsel and then shut up. Most people want to explain themselves. They want to justify their behavior. And again, like I said before, these police reports are not going to be written in your favor. You can count on that. I hope this was helpful.